y'all, it's Ann from What's Up Family Home, and tonight I'm going to can some jalapenos, and these are candied jalapenos, or you can call them Cowboy Candy. Some people call them that, but it's going to be like a sweet heat, and you can use this on burgers or on chicken. You can make it on, you can put it on some cream cheese, but I've never had it before, so I'm excited to try it. But it calls for 4 pounds of jalapenos, and I doubled the recipe. So I'm just going to cut those up, and make sure that you wear gloves because these things are hot. So I'm just going to cut up 8 pounds of jalapenos, which takes a long time. So I will come back when I'm done cutting all these up. Okay, I've got my mason jars here. I'm using the half pints. And make sure you wash these really well in hot soapy water, and make sure you don't have any broken pieces or dings in the jars. And I've got a big stock pot. You want to make sure you have something down below in the bottom to keep them off the bottom of the pot. And you can use canning rings tied together if you want. And I'm not going to give the exact recipe. I don't know if there's a copyright issue, so I'm just going to show you what I'm putting in here, and I'll have the site linked below where you can get the recipe. Okay, after you've dissolved the sugar, add the jalapeno slices, lower the heat to medium, and simmer them for 15 minutes until the jalapenos are dark green and they absorb some of the brine. Okay, now I've just got my jars heating and some simmering water, not boiling. I've got my funnel, and I'm just going to ladle the jalapenos. It said just to put the jalapenos in, and then you'll ladle the brine over the jalapenos. And I'm just using a coffee mug, and then I'm going to take the tool and get all the air bubbles out, and that will do that, and plus it will check your headspace. And I had a little bit more headspace, so I took out one of the jalapenos. So now I'm just going to make sure I've got a 1/2 inch still, and I'm going to take my wet paper towel and wipe the ring off, and I'm going to take my hot lid and my hot ring and put it on there. You don't have to keep them hot, but I still like to do that, and just fingertip tight. And I'm putting them in simmering water, and it has to be 1 inch or 2 above the jars. And then I'm just going to turn my burner up to high. I'm going to put the lid on and bring them up to a boil. And when they come up to a boil, you want to set the timer for 15 minutes. And make sure it is a continuous boil. If it stops boiling, then you'll have to do it all over again. And sometimes you can adjust your stove and turn it down a little bit, but just make sure that it stays at a rolling boil for the amount of time, which this is going to be 15 minutes. So after the 15 minutes is over, just take your lid off and it'll stop boiling, and you'll wait for 5 minutes, and then you can take them out of the water one at a time. Make sure you don't kind of tip them over. That water will eventually evaporate. And you'll just leave them on the counter. Do not move them or anything for at least 12 to 24 hours. And once that time is over, you'll just take off the rings, wash the jars really good, and write what it is when you canned it on the outside, and they'll be good for at least a year. And I did this a couple months back, so now I'm going to open a jar and I'm going to try it and see how it is. I know it was hot when I did it before, so I'm hoping the heat has calmed down a little bit. And I did have a little bit left over, and I put that in the refrigerator. So let's see how this tastes. Okay. Excuse my messy table. I got my Christmas stuff on there, but here is a jar. It's been a couple months since I made it. I have some cream cheese here and some crackers. And I'm just going to take the knife and put some over the cream cheese. I've never had this, so I just hear people rave about it. But I don't want to pour all that juice over it. So I'm just going to... It's not like the jelly. I'm gonna give you a video for that too of the pepper jelly. Okay, I've got my cracker there. I've got some juice on it, a jalapeno, and some cream cheese. Let's try it. Okay. Open up the jar. I put some of the juice and some of the cream cheese and the jalapenos, and now I'm gonna try it. Yes. It's not as much heat as it was. It's still hot. But I don't care. It's so good. Definitely. This is definitely going to be a holiday appetizer at my house. That's good. I will link the recipe down below. It's hot, but it's so good. A little sweet, a little heat. It's not overly sweet. Oh my goodness, that's good. So I hope you try it. Let me know if you do, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.